that maybe if there's any in the house that don't know Him, that maybe they would think of the whole matter this morning. Surely this morning, I don't always know just which way to go, but I'm trusting in the Lord that's always stood by me. Yeah. Even though I may not deserve it, He's always right there. Yeah. And I know that this morning that He loves to bless His children. Mama, I don't quite know just which way to lead, but I'm ready. You know, all morning I just kept thinking, this morning how much that maybe just the way that I grew up and just the way that it's brought me, Brother Jerry. You know, a long time ago, all of us boys right around here, we were raised right in the church, raised to go to church every Sunday, Brother Jerry. Never a doubt in my mind, never a question just if we was going, only question just how far they were going to drag us, Brother Randy. Those were the things. No doubt, Brother Josh, you thought the same thing. I always knew we were in church on Sunday. But time will change some things. Getting older will change a few things. We think just how much wisdom we all have. Brother, and the most wise man walked on the face of this earth right here among people. And they looked and they mocked His very speech. They took everything He said. And even they would try to trip Him up a little bit. Lawyers came to Him and said, Master, what is the greatest commandment? And He looked at him and He told them to love thy neighbor, or to love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, mind, soul, and strength. And He said the second is likened unto the first, to love thy neighbor as thyself. But man being man looked at him and thought that they would even trick Him. And they said, well, Jesus, who is my neighbor? Brother, and He looked right at him. And He said there was a man one time traveling from Jericho right over to Jerusalem. Thieves found this man upon the trail, and they beat him and robbed him and left him for dead. And it said that a man came by that path, looked down upon him laying there, and walked right on by one side of him. A priest, I believe, came by, looked at him and walked right by the other way. But a third, I believe, a Samaritan man, he looked and he saw that man laying there, and it said that He had compassion, took him and laid him upon His beast, took him to an inn, treated him for all of his wounds, and when morning came, took a little money out, and he handed it to that innkeeper. He told him, you keep an eye on this man, and if you have to spend any more, you feel free and you spend it, and I'll come and I'll pay that tab for him. Brother, and Jesus looked back at him, and He said, which of these three was his neighbor? Surely that last man was that neighbor. Brother, in this world, we're so smart. We've got it all figured out. Surely we're watching it go down. Surely we see decision after decision make my heart cringe inside. But that's quite all right. Tell my children what they want to. Thank God I've got a louder voice. I've got a man who can't be hid from. I know a man that when this 16-year-old boy,
come on.
all I want is for God's will to be done in your life.
Yeah.
That's right. I stand up here week after week and I pray and I talk to the Lord and just ask Him, Lord, surely I could go a few ways. But God, I want your message done this morning. Lord, what would you have? What would the hearts need this morning? Which way would you have them to go? I got news. You can sit in a church house every Sunday. You could find church on Wednesday. And you could find a Bible study on Tuesday. And you could attend every one of them, Brother Thomas.
Sure.
And unless you give your heart over to the Lord, my sermons are just going to fall on deaf ears.
Yeah.
Brother, and God has laid it out. Guess what? I've heard Brother Darrell preach the same sermon about when he came to the Lord when I was just a little boy. And when I was about 13 years old, I heard him preach it one time. And Robin and Joe, they had them a little double wide, and in the back of that double wide was a little back door. And me and all my cousins were out playing one time. And I broke away from them, and I snuck in that back door, and they were having them a little home meeting. And church was going on right in there, and I snuck in that back door. And I made my way right down the hallway, and I just began to listen a little bit, Papa. And none of my cousins were around me at this time to distract me. And I began to listen to Brother Darrell tell a little story about when God moved into his heart and when he accepted the Lord, brother. And I can remember standing in that little hallway with tears falling down my face. Brother, not even understanding quite what it was, but brother, there was something to that message that day, something that went a little deeper that day, Papa, that planted right down inside of me. Brother, do you know how many times my mama laying over here, sitting over here, every time that I sat at her little table, just wanting a little something, she would tell me about the goodness of the Lord and tell me how good that God was in her heart. And me just wanting 50 cents to go down to the store so I could get me some candy. My brother and I heard, and guess what I heard about the goodness of God? And when I was 16, I thought I could go into this world. I'm living outside of Detroit. I'm brother and left home, and I said, I'm going and I'm going to blaze my own path out here. And I'm going to live a life for Mike now. My parents are not going to tell me what I can do anymore. I'm going to go and I'm going to live my life, brother. And then guess what? I did those things. I called a backpack my home for a couple years. I bounced just wherever I could and lived wherever I could. My brother, and what I found is a world. I found a world that would cheat me on every hand. Would steal everything that any little thing. You want to know how I found out how naive I was? Grew up in a good Christian family and walked out into a world full of sin. And brother, and then I found just how naive I was. When my friends would look at me and they'd put a smile on their face, and with their other hand they'd steal right out of my pocket, brother. That's what this world here has to offer. And guess what? One would say, well, what? Did you run back home? No, I said, I'll beat your system. And I learned to be just as mean as every boy around me. And I thought, whatever you do unto me, I'm going to learn just how to get around. I'm sorry, I can only speak the truth. But yet God is still good. He is, because guess what? That same boy who was doing those things, burdens would begin to pile up. Troubles would pile up upon me, and I would find myself 1, 2 in the morning in a little home somewhere. Brother, and a voice that would come through so clear to me, saying, what are you doing out here, son? Don't you know I'm still right here? And guess what? That little 13-year-old who heard a little voice crying through saying, I am God and I am here. I found him out in this world. Brother, and I knew the evidence that was again, we have understanding. I had those friends. I remember a whole bunch of us sitting around in a garage one day, and someone began to bring up God, and one by one they begin to say, God, He understands me. He understands. We have a situation. He knows my situation, and He knows He's okay with me. And I heard about 3 or 4 begin to say it, and me being chief of the sinners right before Him. I had enough, brother, and I knew God's Word. And I knew I wasn't living it. I stood up, and my wife was even sitting over on the side, and I don't even think we were dating at the time. I stood up right there in front of them all. I said, listen, I'm going to tell you something. I know if I die right now, I'm going to go to hell because I'm not living for God. I said, and guess what? Every one of you sitting around me, you all do the same things. I said, so there's no need to fool yourselves. Brother, and I was convinced down in my heart. Guess what? Children may run, but I'm going to plant a seed right down inside of them, Brother Jerry. Brother, and in this seed, it sprouts from time to time when the noise of the world can't hold it down anymore. And it says, I am God, and I am still right here. Brother, and we can deny it all you want. My brother, and he's going to get His praise one way or another. The Bible says every knee is going to bow and every tongue's going to confess. Brother, and you don't have to. Guess what? You're too tough to do it right here. Guess what? You'll have a day that's coming for you. Brother, but I'm trying to stand here and convince men and women now is the time for salvation.
That's right. That's right.
I don't stand up here and preach prosperity, that God is just going to bless you with a great job and all kinds of money. But there is a prosperity there.
Sure.
It's not natural. But God is so great in my life. He is the best thing that's ever happened to me. Guess what? I am rich. Whether I have money in my bank account or not. Guess what? I have joy in my heart and in my life that this world can't take away. So there is a prosperity. There is joy in serving the Lord right here on this earth. There is greatness. Guess what? 15 years. I've been serving Him, and it's been the greatest 15 years of my life.
It's going to get better.
When the burdens of life beat me up so bad, I would pray from time to time. As foolish as I was, nobody taught. You're not taught how to pray. You don't go to Brother Darrell and say, how do I pray? Well, guess what? This young boy, he didn't know what to say, so guess what? I just poured my heart out. And I'm telling you, I prayed just like this. I said, Lord, I said, I know that I won't change myself. I said, because I kind of like what I'm doing right now. I said, and I'm afraid I'm not going to change. I said, but I know, Lord, if I die, I'm going to go to hell. I said, so would you send something my way? Or would you just do something that would maybe change me? Because I don't have confidence that I'm going to do it, Lord, but I know that I need to. And God sent something. Brother, and then I would go on about my ways, brother, a few times, and guess what? That prayer, and just kept praying every so often. Burdens would get too much, Brother Randy, and I would pray it again, Lord, the Lord sent something to change me. Guess what? I stood up in front. I was no tough guy by any means, but I stood in front of many a big voice and said, whatever you want to do, I'm ready to do it. And I thought within myself that I was pretty mean. But guess what? The men in this world couldn't change me, but God, He's going to one-up you every time. He knows just what you stand in need of. I had Erica sitting over here one time called me, and she was crying, brother. And she was worried. I told her to come on over. And brother, and she walked into a little room, and she said, Mike, we're going to have a baby. Brother, and then I began to put my tough guy on, and I said, don't worry about a thing. I'm going to handle everything. And you don't even worry about it. I've got this under control. Brother, and consult started praying a little bit. Started praying, and I started thinking about being a father. And I would guess that it was the first time in my life that I quit pointing at myself. And I finally started thinking about something else other than me.
Yeah. Look at that.
For just a minute, I started finally quit saying, what does Mike want all the time? Brother, and I began to think. I began to pray a little bit, and I asked myself, I said, well, what is the greatest thing that I've had in 20 years? Whatever I think of, I'm going to give to that little baby.
Yeah.
And I began to think about a short 20 years, which seemed so long to me at the time.
Sure.
And brother, and I began to mull it over, the goodness that I thought that I had. And I remembered Brother Josh sitting over here. I remembered Brother Chad. I remembered my brother. I remembered Brother Brandon and Brother Jeremy. And I didn't remember sitting in the church house. But I remembered being outside of the church house. And I remembered finding the little apple trees that us boys would collect them up. And we'd have us a big old fight outside while you guys were in here preaching. Brother, in each church that we went to, Mama would say, tell us, we'd say, where are we going this Sunday? And she would say the name of it. Brother, and it meant nothing to us. We'd say, well, is that the one with the store down the road? Is that the one with the creek outside? Is that the one with this tree? Brother, and you may have had your names, but us children, we had our own names for them. Those things I remembered, and they were so sweet unto my heart. And that, brother, and I began to think, well, if that is the greatest thing that I know, Lord, I hear you, and I'm going to go back to church. And I asked my wife, I said, would you go with me? Brother, and you want to talk about feeling forsaken? I'll take a young girl and know that she's going to be a mother to a bunch of girls that want to go out and party every weekend. And guess what? She had nothing left to run to either. Brother, and she leaped with me, and we began to go. I don't know how many times I heard Brother Chris say, when I seen you two walk in the door, I about jumped out of my shoes. I couldn't believe. Brother, and he said, I don't know how many times I've heard him preach. This brother sitting over here, I thought surely one day I'm going to be preaching his funeral because this boy's going to get himself killed out on the streets. Brother, but guess what? God, He's bigger than this world. And I thank God for that today. And you know, and I begin to go out to the church house a little bit. I begin to go week after week. And I would swear that Brother Chris had a tape recorder sitting in my room hearing what I was praying to God. Because when he'd get up in the stands, he'd start preaching it, Mama. And I would begin to have you ever been in the church house and you felt something, you don't even know what it was? But you felt when it went over you. I know you have. I know that when Brother Jerry got up, we had a big gust of it come on through.
Yeah.
Do you know what that is? That's God's Spirit right there.
Yeah.
And do you know I tasted a little bit of that, just a sinner. And brother, and it was the sweetest thing I've ever felt in my life. Brother, and what, Papa, when I would go on home, maybe phone calls would come in and they'd rob me of that Spirit. But brother, and I began to pray and I began to cry and I said, Lord, why do I feel this way in the church house? God, and I leave and I lose it. Lord, how can I hold it? Whatever it is, Lord, I want it a little longer. And brother, and I prayed and I cried just like that. Lord, let me keep your Spirit for a little longer. Let me bring it home and keep it that Sunday. Brother, and I found I could taste it for a little while, but guess what? I couldn't keep it through the week, and I'd pray again, Lord. Lord, help me to hold it all week, Lord. Brother, and I just cried like that. Do you know, one time I had a cousin of mine, he came to me. He was even in the church, and he came to me and he said, Mike, where would you live? He said, where would you live if you could choose anywhere to live? And brother, and I looked at him and I said, I'd live right here. We were in Michigan at the time. I said, I live right here. I live in Kentucky, one of the two. And he said, no. He said, if you could live anywhere, Mike. I'm saying anywhere, like at the beach or... I said, brother, I said, my wife, she's an accountant. I said, and I'm in real estate and construction. It's everywhere. I said, if we wanted to move to the beach, we'd move today. I said, I want to live in Michigan because I have a church there. Yeah. And if I wasn't living here, I'd want to live in Kentucky because I know I got churches there. Yeah. I said, I'm called to preach and I need to preach. I said, and if I'm not preaching, I believe my joy is going to lose it. I'm not going to have any joy in my heart. I'm telling you today, I need this church as much as you need me because I need God's Spirit. Yeah. I need my brothers as much as you need me. I need your strength. I need yours. Do you know that I was sitting, brother, and I was enjoying everything? Do you know that we can sit in a meeting, brother, and we can be a little weak within ourselves? But a sister, she comes ready to hear a little bit. And brother, and I'm not even sure what she's shouting at when she gets going. But brother, and by the time she's done, I understand what she's shouting about. Brother, and guess what? We're weak in nature. But thank God for some strong brothers to lift us. Thank God for that today. Brother, I may not be able to reach them, but you may be able to reach them. And guess what? Vice versa. Guess what? I need you preaching to my children. I'm telling them, guess what? They're not little babies anymore. And they better consider the whole matter. You sitting here today, if you don't know God, you better consider the whole matter. I would love for you to sit down and tell me about the goodness that you have. That's greater than God. I'm welcome to hear it. I've lived in this world. I've tasted of it. And brother, it gets awful bitter. I would pray and pray for God's Spirit a little more. Do you know one time I was praying and God said, it's good that you go out to church and it's good that you're going to take your kid out to church, but guess what? Uncle Chris ain't going to always be around. Yeah. What are you going to do when your kid asks me about, what are you going to do when he starts asking you about God? Yeah. What are you going to do then? And I said, all right, Lord, I'll begin to read a little bit. Yeah. God, He knows just what you stand in need of. And if you have a pure heart, He'll lead you just where you need to go. Yeah. He can lead and He can guide you if you would look to Him. Yeah. And if you would turn everything over to Him. Repentance, it is required by every man and every woman. Sure. You must submit to the will of God. And I'm telling you today, He is the best thing that I know. He is everything to me. He is the only thing I found that's worth me getting up in anywhere and hooting and hollering and tell you about the goodness of God. He is worth it. Yes, He's worth it to me to act a fool, to do whatever I need to convince men and women. If you haven't considered Him, He has considered you today. Yeah, that's right. He has always been there for me, whether I've given Him my all or not. He is as close to me as I'll let Him be today. Yep, that's right. And He will be as close as you let Him in your heart today. It's been wonderful. I'm going to let these brothers go ahead and get them a song. And so many times I walked into the church after I had been away about 5 years, and I'd come down and visit here in Kentucky, and I'd hug Mama. And she would just begin to cry a little bit, and she'd hug me a little tighter, Brother Jerry, and she'd say, when you were out on the streets, Mike, you don't know how many times I cried myself to sleep, praying that God would go and that He'd find you for me. Yeah. You know, guess what? You don't have to leave an address book today. You don't have to leave a cell phone number. God, guess what? My children, I can't choose it for them, but I'm going to stick Jesus on them every chance I get. And I'm going to say, Lord, wherever they go and whatever they do, and God, you stay right in their ear. Yeah. And you lead them and you guide them just the way you did me, Lord. And I'm confident in you and that you'll keep them just where they need to go. Men and women, you must take heed to that voice in your ear. Right. You must submit to it today if you want to begin to understand. Oh, Elisha, the prophet, one time had a great army about him. And it See, I wish you could feel what I feel, but unless you want it for yourself and none other, unless you want it in your heart, you're going to miss it this morning.
That's right.
You brothers go ahead and sing. I'm telling you, God, He loves you today. He said to cast your cares upon me, for I care for you today, and I've never found a more loving, more caring person than what I found in the trust that I have in God. He is